It's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I've been talking so much about adjustments / compromises. You know, it's like compromise or else you will receive failure, like failure of your health. Like compromise and you have to take antibiotics. Things that come across our lives, that come our way, that give us a blow to our health that we need to fight back. We've always fought back with natural antibiotics, but we're now in a situation where our conditions and our environment is so formidable against us that natural antibiotics that we are used to using and natural ways of health are not enough. And so we're not prepared. That's what we're saying. We're coming unprepared. And so we are learning new ways, and thank God that there are other ways that we were not necessarily needing before. It's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. The concept of, well, we didn't need another backup system, natural antibiotic system before, because what we had was working. We find that we are learning new things, coming across new things that before we didn't know anything about. And so we're just having that openness, that thing where like George Washington Carver would look up and say, God, give me another thing I can make out of peanuts, right? Because he's the guy that invented over 300 things to make out of peanuts. And there's other people like Francis of Assisi, make me an instrument of your peace. You know, give us another way to fight with natural antibiotics to keep ourselves healthy. You know, it's a request. And the answers are coming. And we're so thankful. We are so thankful for that because it's been so stressful. The landlord, I was just talking to him yesterday. He was asking how we were doing, and I had to talk to him about the parasite issues. And he said here, well, of course he's collaborating what we've already been told by other Ecuadorian doctors, that Ecuadorians treat for parasites twice a year here. Okay, now that puts you in a position where you're talking about treat means antibiotics, right? You know, the average person that takes antibiotics, that's like, oh great, solution, done deal, right? Close the book on it. But for those of us that are naturalists and minimalists, that's not a solution we've had to use before. You have to become dependent on antibiotics. And you have to become somebody that you weren't before, or something that you're unwilling to do. You have to compromise in a way that you aren't willing to compromise. And because of our steadfast conviction, and that's another thing, if you don't have a conviction, and I do believe that convictions come through knowledge, and knowledge comes through having an open mind and asking. And so we have to be willing to accept new knowledge and new ways. And we are. You know, I'm really, really thankful today that we are being given solutions that are natural. I was really, really stressing out there for a while. I didn't want to become somebody that I'm not, a person that relies on antibiotics that are pharmaceutical in nature. So I just have a day of thankfulness here today, and I just want to express that thankfulness. You know, I'm sorry, a lot of times I get started on a subject and I kind of go off here and there. There's so many things. There's so many aspects. But we'll save it for another video, right? Looks like the sun's decided to come out today, so we're going to make a run for it, for the beach. I was in a spot this morning where I was very grateful, and I was in a moment of gratitude that I touched on, and I just wanted to expound on the moment of gratitude and what led to that gratitude. Being in a new environment that we were unprepared for, that we did not have all of the answers. And a lot of people see frustration in some of our videos, and there is a certain amount of frustration that you go through. You know, the community does not avail itself of honest practices as it should. And I realize how that sounds. I know that people are honest. They are honest. They are benevolent. I just think that sometimes they just don't go far enough. There is a level where we have to start taking responsibility and saying, okay, look, I came here and everybody else just stuck their head in the sand or kept things all wrapped up and didn't tell anybody. Or if they did say something, they poo-pooed it or minimized it or made it sound like it was no big deal. And then you come down here to any of these places in the world, any developing country, I don't care what it is, Mexico, Philippines, Panama. I think that regardless of what happens in life, there reaches a point where we have to take responsibility and say, okay, what am I going to do about this? Okay, there's an answer here, and I just don't know what it is right now. But I'm going to leave myself open for any new information that I have not yet received in my life. All I know is what I've learned so far, in other words, and I'm ready to learn more. And when you finally start getting this new information and you learn what you needed to learn, you start getting new solutions you didn't have before, you start learning new things and you start using new tools, and you start getting results again. And so now that you're coming back to where you were before. You went full circle. But we are relying on our God-given mind and our God-given abilities, and we're always relying on creation to obtain knowledge. Knowledge is power. Correct belief in creation leaves itself open to all of creation and does not block out parts of creation. So now that we've come full circle, where we're achieving results with totally brand new tools that we've never used before, didn't know anything about them, that we've learned to use, and we're achieving results, and our health is starting to come back around. By the way, you guys are going to want to know this. We told you guys that we were going to do all this research, and this is part of what I'm talking about right now. But part of that research is this. We have found out that the long-term high elevation insomnia, guess what, guys? It has some of the symptoms, and many of the symptoms are very similar, if not the same symptoms, as being infested with Entamoeba histolytica, which is the potentially deadly protozoa that you get from water and food. And we came down here thinking, oh well, we're good, you know, we got perky filters, we're good. But boy, were we mistaken. The gratitude is we've gone to the full circle, and we're at the place where we're grateful because we're getting back to that level where we feel like our knowledge of creation has increased from before. So that's the takeaway from all of this. We're stronger. We're stronger. There's a saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's what has happened. We have become stronger now, and thank God for just the creation knowledge. There's the ability to have more knowledge than you have before, and to learn new things, and then people come into your life that show you things you didn't know before. We're just so grateful and thankful, and you know, I just wanted to share that. And it is part of our life here in Salinas. It is everyday life in Salinas, Ecuador, but it could be everyday life in any developing country. We're just so much happier, and we're content to be here and to have this solution. So believing in creation is having infinite open door to the knowledge of creation.